All right, let's take a look at what you have discovered so far on input and output on the worksheet. So we did some of this together with the pet chooser, and your job was to write down as many inputs. As you recall, one of the first questions was, were you allergic? Do you like being outside? And so on. And then you should have 8 different pets in that output. So if you don't have that, you have to spend some time finishing this up. And then the second app on here was the story creator. And so what you found is you had, oh gosh, you had to put in maybe 5 or 6 things here, as I'm trying to recall. They wanted you to put in like a color and your name and a city and some other kinds of things, and then choose the kind of story. Did you want a Western or a sci-fi? I can't spell here, or a sci-fi story, okay? So those would be all of your inputs. For the output, and I know some of you had asked about this, don't write the whole thing down. You can just say it created a story with your personalized choices for those inputs, okay? Okay, now after this, then I want you to take a look at what comes next. Okay, now in theory, right now we're actually going to cross off this part because I don't want to spend time today talking about this, but this does lead into your project that's coming up in a couple days. So you're going to be tasked with coming up with an idea for a new app. So start planting that seed in your brain now as to, what would be a cool new idea for an app? All right. So you can cross this part out. You don't have to do it, but start thinking. Okay. Now, this next part on the back side, turn your paper over. We've focused a lot with the apps we've looked at where the user has to type or click to input the information. But there are some other ways that an app or a phone or a computer can receive information, okay? Not from the user. So I want you to stop silently and start thinking about what those might be, okay? So stop the video for maybe 1 minute and try to brainstorm something. Okay, here's one I can think of. Um, your microphone is one way that you can provide input without like touching the screen per se. Camera and viewing things, like I think you use the camera to like scan QR codes and other things like that. That would be one. Did you think of GPS? So your location is on your phone so you can find it if you misplace it, like I've done. Or I tell my kids to call me so that I can find it. What was the other one? Oh, I mentioned this in some classes. You know, you have a temperature sensor in your phone. If it gets too hot, then it definitely will shut down by itself. Okay, excellent. Now, on this last part, it's called the Improve Pet app. Okay, you're going to have to go to code.org again, same lesson, lesson number 5, and they improved the pet app a little bit. It starts out the same, okay, but this time it wants you to jot down what kind of information does the user provide, what kind of information is picked up by the phone sensors, what does the internet do on this improved app to provide information from the input and the output, okay, or what it provides for output. So your job is to, and I'll say set the timer for maybe 4 or 5 minutes. It shouldn't take too long to run through it and see what's different about the Improved Pet app. And then you can cross out that bottom because we'll get to that when we start the project. Okay? Set the timer for 5 minutes. On your mark, it's at go. See what you can find out on that Improved Pet app.